Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Vaughn, Technical Software Specialist here with Graitec Group. Thank you for joining me at this week's 15 at 15 session, where we'll dive into unlocking the power of linked data, mastering Revit with Ideate BIMLink. So in this session, we're going to look at how we can coordinate data between multiple Revit files. So this could be for very large buildings where buildings are separated into different areas, different quadrants, or it can be for buildings that have different disciplines, be it, fire, structural, MEP, and the like. So the product that we're going to use to explore these workflows is Ideate Software's BIMLink, which allows the workflow to work between Revit and Excel. So with this product, with BIMLink, we're going to look at how we can coordinate the data between the two Revit models. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chats and we'll be happy to assist. Ideate BIMLink allows you to export huge amounts of parameter or properties data to Microsoft Excel. Excel can be utilized to review, make changes, then seamlessly push back changes into the Revit model. Ideate BIMLink becomes the standard for all your Revit data management needs. The Revit schedule just wasn't designed to be as powerful as Excel. With the power of Excel to manipulate your Revit data, you now have an easy and powerful interface between Revit and Excel to maximize your productivity. The product also comes with pre-configured links that allows our users to be productive quickly and easily. So the example that we're going to look at in a video demo next is how we can coordinate between two Revit models. So without using Ideate BIMLink, this process would involve a slow manual kind of process. You have to open and edit each Revit file individually. There's also a high risk of human error, where there might be typos, missed elements, and inconsistencies. And there's also no global data view, so it's hard to compare or align data across linked models. And there's also a problem with ID conflicts. There may be duplicate element IDs across files that can cause input issues. And the workflow is simply unscalable. It's inefficient for managing data in complex multi-model projects. So now with Ideate BIMLink, what we can do is we can export, edit, and re-import data. So that includes names, parameters, IDs, etc. in Revit using Excel and even for linked files. And this enables fast, centralized, and accurate data management across multiple models in large projects. So now let's look at this in action in a video demo. Okay, so this is my Revit file I have open here, and what we're looking at here is when we're working with a Revit file linked into another Revit file, we often need to kind of cross-coordinate between the two files. So what I'm doing here is I'm just reloading my core and shell model, which I've used to link into another Revit file, which is the interiors version of this building. So whenever we're dealing with multiple links in a project and we want to coordinate them, a good way to kind of compare the different values is to create an Excel spreadsheet for us to easily compare room numbers and door names. So now that the file has been reloaded and updated, I'm just going to the Ideate Software tab and I'm opening the BIMLink window here. And down here you can see there's a link called Leverage Linked File Data, and that should take you to the Ideate Software page where you can read more about this particular scenario whenever we're working with multiple links in a project. And this typically happens when it's a very large and complex building, when we have elements separated out, like the core and shell, the interiors. Maybe in another example, it's MEP or fire. So this often happens where we have multiple segregated models, and you can see here there's a core and shell example from that webpage. Right, so now let's try to create a link in BIMLink. So let's have a look at what we have got here. So if you click on the new button and open up this window, we're going to look for an architectural link that deals with doors. Because in this example, we're going to look at coordinating the doors from the core and shell Revit model and the interiors Revit file as a link. So this is the window I have here that opens up the doors link. And you can see it here is basically using the Revit schedule parameters here. So in the linked properties area, these are the columns that represents the schedules, and I can also remove certain columns that I don't want to generate when I export that out into Excel. So let's have a look here. Host wall type, family type, and I'm just having a look at the available properties as well on the left. And like you have in Revit, you can also look at other properties in things like zone, rooms, but we'll just keep it on the doors section. So here you can see the preview is showing elements without the linked elements. I'm just checking this box so it includes the linked Revit elements. And you can see it's increased the element count up to 853. And also you can check this box at the bottom to show all the preview elements. And you can review that in this list. And then in categories, there's just more kind of features here and filters and sorting like you would see in Revit. Okay, right, so now let's click Done. And what we're going to do next is just open it up again. So I'm just opening up that same link and checking everything's been saved, which it looks like it has, and it all looks good. Okay, so now we're in a position to export that as an Excel. So I'll just export this out onto my desktop here. And then that would generate my Excel file. So by clicking on the Open File button, you can see here, this is the result of that export. And you can see it's filled out all of the data here between the two Revit models. And using this information, I can then coordinate between the core and shell and also the interiors Revit model. You can see here on the left, it has the mark numbers. Okay, it has the different IDs here as well listed. And we've got level information. Okay, family and type, and also the host wall type, which is very, very useful. So to summarize, why use Ideate BIMLink? Ideate BIMLink seamlessly exchange extensive Revit data with Microsoft Excel, including linked files. It also allows for rapid parameter data editing. It can manage data beyond schedules, easily batch create new Revit elements, and utilize pre-configured QA/QC, COBie, and health check link definitions. So that now concludes our 15 at 15 session today. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat and we'll try to get back to you. If we didn't have the chance to answer your questions in the chat, then feel free to email us at support@ideatesoftware.com. You could also go to our webpage to fill out a survey and find more online content on our YouTube channel under 15 at 15 recordings. Thank you for attending today's webinar. Thank you and goodbye.